So hello everyone, it's your boy Devij, and in today's video we are going to see how you can make a multiple character transformation system for your games. And as you can see here, if I'll press my right mouse button, we will transform into our different character, and if I'll press it again, we will transform into a different character, and this will go on up to how many characters you have. And apart from this, each and every character will have their own ability, like our crow can walk and fly in the sky, our deer can run fast, and so on. And lastly, we are also going to work on our this transformation widget. So instead of pressing button, you can even switch or transform directly using this widget. And this is our updated version of our transformation system which I already created, and thanks to you all guys, that video has highest view in our channel. Thank you for your love. So let's get begin. So here inside my content browser, let me show what are the things that we have here. So here firstly I have this audios for our transformation thing, like once the player will transform we will play this audio here. And I have this animal pack, like here you can see I have the blend spaces and animation blueprint of my animal in which I want to transform. And if you don't have idea how this blend space and animation blueprint make, I will make one here for your understanding. And lastly I have this widgets for our widget that we are going to create. So let's get begin. So first thing first that we are going to do, we will make a new enumeration. So you can name it whatever you want and double click and open it. And here we are going to add all the characters that we want to switch in. Like in my case, I have total 5 characters in which I want to switch in. First one is our crow. Second one is our pig. Third one is our wolf. Fourth one is our deer. And last one is our third person character. So I will name it as person, like this. Yeah, and save it. Now what we need to do, open your player's blueprint, whatever player you are using. In my case I am using third person template, so I am using third person character mesh. And now first thing first, we will create a new function for our transformation. So create a new function, name it transformation, like this. Yeah, and now we want to bring our this enumeration that we just created for our transformation inside this. For that what you can do, make a new variable, name it e transformation, make it e transformation, and under its type we will select our e transformation enumeration. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so now we will drag it inside our graph. So simply drag and get it, and from it we will search for a switch. So let's see how this switch will work. So it will check every time we will execute our this function, it will check the value of our this e transformation. And here you can see it has value. If it will have crow activated or its value is equal to our crow, then it will execute our this crow function, or what should I say, this crow execution pin will be executed. If its value will be wolf, then our wolf will be executed. So on base of that we are going to switch between our characters. Now here the question arises, how our character will actually transform. So instead of transforming like spawning a character, what we can do, we will add a multiple meshes inside our character, inside our capsule, and every time whenever this all thing will be executed, we will hide all of the meshes and we will only display or set visible to the mesh which we want to transform in. Let's see how we are going to do it. So what I will do now, I will add all my meshes that I want to use here. So let's see. So for that, select our capsule collision. Here get a skeletal mesh. First one I will name it crow, and do the same for your all other meshes. Now under our skeletal mesh assets, simply select your character. For our crow we will select our crow and adjust its transformation on based of your need, and do the same for all other meshes. And here we are done. So compile and save it, and let's give it a try how it's looking inside our game. So right now you can see we have all our mesh which is looking kinda sus. So yeah, and you can even see that we don't have our animation in this animals. So I will show you how to make one for them. So let's go inside our content browser, and I will open our this player blueprints, and here I'm making for a bird, and I have everything is ready, but for the tutorial I'm making for a bird so that it will be easy for you all to understand. So here come under animation, go inside legacy, here select blend space 1D. Blend space 1D is for single directional animation. If you are using multiple directional animation, use blend space. But if in my case I have a single animation, like single directional animation, so I'm using blend space 1D. Name it blend space grow, whatever you want. Double click to open it, and always make sure to save your progress. Otherwise, if Unreal will crash, you will lose your all progress. And here under horizontal axis, name this variable as speed, and we are going to use it inside our animation blueprint. And I will set the maximum access value as 100 only. And first thing, we will need a idle position or idle animation for our crow, which you can see. Then we will need a walking animation. Yeah, it's all ready. Now we have to work on our animation blueprint for this crow. So for that, let me bring it up back to upside. Yeah. For that, simply create a new animation blueprint for your crow. Make sure to select crow as your skeletal mesh because we are making it for crow. Name it animation blueprint for our bird, and connect our this blend space that we just created, which you will find inside our asset browser. Simply connect it and promote our this speed variable into a new variable. There you can see. Now come to our event graph. Here get velocity. From this our get pawn owner, get velocity, and from this velocity get vector length. Yeah, this one. And finally set our speed as our vector length. So now it will play the animation. Like now our animation blueprint is ready. So let's simply assign them for our characters. So for our crow, we will simply assign our app bird. So there you can see now our animation is assigned. For our pig, I already have. So if you don't, then make sure to follow the same process and make one for your own, and do the same for your all other meshes. So now if we will play, so now you can see that every animation is playing, like animation is playing for our all characters. So now we have to work on our transformation part. So first thing first, firstly make sure to make every character invisible except your main character. In my case, my third person character is my main character. You can choose whatever character you want to make main. So simply go here and search for visible and turn it off. Do the same thing for all your sub characters or the character in which you want to transform except your main character. So right now our each and every character is hidden. So if I will play, then there you can see it's not visible. Like none of them are visible in our game, but in real they are here only, but it's not visible in the game. So now what we will do, we will go inside our function that we created, and from here we are going to switch between this, like we will hide every mesh except our transformable mesh, and we will work on it. For that, what I will do to make it look more professional, I will create a new function. I will name it transform meshes. Okay, mesh, transform mesh. Okay, and I will get a return value here, return node, and now we will drag and bring all of our meshes here, and we will simply connect it with our return value, copying everything and making it lot bit of mesh. We can directly use it here like this. So we will now drag and bring our this function here, and for our crow we will bring it here. So now you can see that every time I can now get the access of our all meshes here in more professional way. So that's why we are using. So I will copy and paste it for our all functions, like all our execution pins like this. Now we want to do the actual thing, which is hiding and unhiding the meshes. So for that I will again create a new function, and I will name it as transformation parameters meters. Yeah, like this. Now what we will need inside this, first thing first, we will need a set visibility node. So I will search for set visibility for deer, not for deer exactly, set visibility node. So this is for our all the characters, like all the meshes that will be not visible. So that's why I'm not checking this new visible, and I will copy it and I will paste it here, and I will connect it here, and inside this I will make it enable so that it will for our all the thing that are visible. And after compiling you will find this error. This is because we don't have any targets here. We want our target from our this, not this, from this. we want this all as our targets. So for that, simply drag and connect it here and rename them. For first, this is for our hidden meshes, so name it as hidden meshes, hidden mesh, and this will be array. Why array? Because we have a lots of data here which we are going to pass through it. So this will be array, but there is only one character that will be visible at that time, so this will be not array, this will be our single variable, it will be not array. Okay, now for that I will rename it as visible mesh like this. Yeah, so now compiling, now you will see there is no any error. So now simply drag it over this new function which is transformation parameters and connect it here. And now for our hidden mesh, as because this is for our crow, so our crow will directly go inside our visual mesh, and for our pigs and all, this all will go inside our hidden mesh. And there you will see, once I will connect it, it will make a new node called make array. So we will simply add the pins here like this, and we'll connect our rest of the mesh which we want to hide, and so it will look like this here. Make sure to adjust your blueprint, otherwise it will look like a I'm sorry, it will look like mess, sorry for bad word. So like this, now we will copy it and I will paste it everywhere, and do the same for all of our this meshes. So now we want to work on our thing, how we are going to transform. So right now we are using button, later on we will also make our widget. So what I will do, I will use my left mouse button, and what we are going to do here, once we will press, we will set this value. Let me set its value as crow. So whenever I will press my let me show you what I mean by it. So if I'll press my left mouse button, then okay, so actually I forgot to add my transformation function here. So whenever I will press my left mouse button, our value of our this e transformation will become crow. So you can see this one, and it will execute crow. Let me show you. Here I will press my e key, and there you can see I will transform into crow. Same goes for our other meshes. If I will change this, if I'll make it wolf, then whenever I will press my left mouse button, I will transform into wolf like this. Okay, so now we want that every time I will press, we are going to loop between our characters. Like every time I will press, it will switch to another, it will switch to another. So for that, what we can do, we will create a new variable called current transformation. Yeah, current transformation, and this one will be of integer type. Okay, so now what we will do, every time we will press our left mouse button, we are going to bring our this current transformation. So simply get this thing, and we are going to get an add node, and every time we will add 1 in it. Okay, and whenever it will be equal to, or greater than, not equal to, whenever it will be greater than 4, because we have 4 values here. Let me show you what I mean by 4. We have 5 transformation, but once one will be 0 itself, you will get the idea what I mean. Just give me a second. And if 1 will be equal to 4, then what we will do, we will check if it's equal to 4, get a branch, and if it's equal to 4, then we will set our current transformation as 0, and if false, then we will set it as a return value of our added current transformation. So we are setting a current transformation. Let me connect the execution phase. So we have a variable called current transformation. It will check what is our current transformation, and every time whenever we will press our right mouse button, it will add 1 to our this, our value for our current transformation is 0, but every time it will add 1, and it will check if it's greater than 4. If it is not greater than 4, then it means it is 1. It will add again, and it will check if it's greater than 1. If it's not, then it will go on with our this value, which is now 2, and it will go on up to 4. Once it will be equal to 4, now it will again switch the value of our current transformation to 0. So in that way, we will loop between our 0 to 4, and we will use our this values to make an array index, so that we can change the value of our e transformation on based of their index. And now instead of our this, I will delete it. I will make a new enumeration array type for same e transformation for array, but this time it will be array. Compile and save it. Simply get it here, and from it get a copy. So now you can see, now we have our get. So simply get it and connect it here. So now what I did here, let's see why I removed our single value with our array. So here what our array carries this index value, and we are going to switch this index value with our current transformation. So for that, firstly we will add our index here. Like, we have 5 character. First one will be our person, second one will be our crow. You can select this manually, it's not needed to be assigned them like this the way I'm doing. You can do it anyway. And now if we will press play, yeah, and now if I'll press my button, then there you can see I transform into pig. I will press again, I will transform into our wolf. I'll press again, I will transform into our this deer. I will press again, I will transform into bird. And if I will press again, I will transform into nothing. Why nothing? Okay, we get some error. I made a mistake. Let's see what. Okay. Actually, I forgot to add this here. Let's try it again. Yeah. So if I'll press it now, we transform into pig. I will press it again, we transform into our this wolf. And right now you can see that every animal have a single, like, have a same movement and same stuffs. Later on we will change it. If I'll press it again, we will convert into a deer. If I'll press it again, we will convert into a crow. And if I'll press it again, we will convert back to our third person character. So it's working absolutely fine, and we can see that it's looking very simple. Like, there is no transformation animation or any particle effects. So we are going to add the particle effects here, and just because I don't have any transformation animation, I am using particle system or amateur, whatever you want to use, you can use it. But if you have a transformation animation, I will suggest you to use it because that looks very good. So what we will do here, first thing, I will simply collapse them into a new function. So simply select all and collapse to function and name this function. We can name this function, come here, and we will name this function as spawn particles. Okay, like this. We'll search for spawn emitter at location. This system is for our Niagara system. If you want to use Niagara system, you can, but I will use the emitter for the tutorial. Actually, I stopped recording because of the background noise. Sorry for that. Okay, now we have our spawn emitter at a location. So what we need a location where we will spawn our emitter. So for that, I will use my capsule collision. Simply get your capsule collision in your graph, and from it search for its location. So get world location. So get a world location for our this capsule collision, and I will I will simply connect it here like this. And for our this emitter, I don't have any emitter, so I will add some from our starter content. So simply add the starter content to your project. It will take few seconds, and now you will find we have lots of emitters. I am increasing its scale to 2. You can adjust it as per your needs. Yeah, so now if we will test it, then there you can see it will look much better. Here, if I will do, actually it's preparing a shader. Wait for a while. Now you can see it's looking much better. Yeah, so it's working absolutely fine. Now what we have to do next, now I want to add the sound effects in it, which is very basic thing, but still I will do it. So open your transformation parameters function, which is inside here, and here what we will do, we will go for play sound 2D, and we will again connect our this sound directly to our return value, and we will name it as sound. Okay, keep it as a sound, and come back to our transformation function. Here for sound, we will come to our audio files. Here I will select our audio for crow, and do the same for your all other meshes. So it's done too. So let's give it a try. I hope this is recording, like my screen audio is also capturing. I uh hope so it's audible to you all, but I can listen it. Yeah, so like it's working fine. Okay, so now what we want to do, now we will work on our flying inputs. First thing first, this all things look very messy, so I'm going to arrange it. So I will speed up this part. Now we will work on our flying system. So we have two options. I can, whenever our character will switch to bird, it will automatically activate our flying mode, and our character, like our crow, will start flying. But I don't want this because in our previous video I did the same, and many of you guys asked me how to make our crow to walk in ground and then we can switch him back to flying. So we are going to work on that here. So for that, firstly we will create a new function that will check whether our crow is on ground or not. For that, what I will do, from get a event tick node like this, and from it we will set this as a crow, and now we will get our e transformation and we will get our current value. Again we will get a copy here, and now we'll connect this with it. Like I don't think we will need it. I will directly search for equal enum and we'll check if it's equal to crow or not. We will again get a branch. I will connect the execution pin. Whenever our player will be bird, then only event tick will take place. Now what we will do from this, we will do a line trace by channel, so it will do a line trace in downward direction of our player. And for that, what I will do, firstly we will get a world location. So from our start, get world location, not for deer, for our crow. I will connect our crow here. Yeah, so we will get a world location for our crow. Now a rotation, and from this we will get a vector, and now we will multiply it with -40. Why -40? Because we want our trace in downward direction. You can obviously play with these values if you want. And lastly we will get a add node from here, shift add, and we will connect it with this. And finally we will connect with this end. We will get this return value here. I will promote this to a variable like this, and I will name it as is on ground, so that we will check if it's is on ground or not. And just for test, right now we will make it for duration, and I will increase the duration time something like 10 seconds. So let's try. So there you can see we are there is no line tracing because right now we are not, because right now our enum state is mesh. I will transform into pig. You can see there's still nothing. It's still nothing. If I will transform into deer, it's still nothing. But if I will transform into crow, there you can find this line trace. And if I will be on the ground, you can see it's colliding with our ground. So what's my plan is, once we will be in the ground and then we will press any key, like any input key, whatever we want, then we can just change our flying mode. Like we can change, if we want, then we can change it to flying mode. That will be a lot more better way to achieve it is. Yeah, so let's start working on it. So come back to our third person character. So now for that, what we will do, we will use a right mouse button. So whenever we will be in the sky, or whenever this line trace, I mean whenever we will be not in the ground, then if we will press our right mouse button, then we can only switch between our flying mode. So what I will do, I will use my right mouse button. From this right mouse button, I will simply copy our this complete node, because we want to check whether we are bird or not, then only we want to switch, otherwise our pig and everything will start flying too. So we will check if we are crow or not. If we will be crow, then we will again do a counter check if we are moving on ground or not. Okay, now if this thing will be true, like if we will be on the ground, and I will make it like set movement mode. I will set our movement mode as falling. So our character movement will be falling. You will get the idea why I am doing it. But what if it will be false? And we will search for set movement mode, and we will move it to flying. And whenever our crow will be flying, what we want to play our flying animation. For this, search for play animation for our crow mesh and select our animation inside it. So this thing is done. Like whenever we will be not in the ground, we can fly. Let me show what this will do. Will be the crow, and there you can see if I will press this, then there you can see we can fly. But right now there is no input for going up and down. I can only move in that way. And one more thing, make sure to turn on this looping, so it will be loop, it will not stuck doing this. So there you can see it will keep looping and it will look like this. Now we have to add the input for going up and down, so let's work on it. Now what I will do, for that, make a new input action, name it IA flying, and here inside mapping add a new mapping, and this mapping will be for our IA flying. and we need two values, one for going up and one for coming down. So for going up I'm using Z, and for going down I am using X. And inside here we will add a new modifier, and this modifier will be negative. It will just invert the value so we can get a negative value. Now what we need to do, we will search for our this recently created input action, which is IA flying. From triggered we will get a branch, and now here we will get our character movement, and from here we will see is flying. So if it's flying, it means whenever it will be in flying mode, we will add a new input. So get a new add movement input, and for our this Z value, I will make it 1. Here we need our X value in this scale, and I think I made something wrong here. So open your flying, and yeah, here it's a digital bull, but we need axis 2D vector. Simply save it. There you can see action value. So right click and split the pins and connect our X value with it like this. So now it all said done. Now let's give it a try. So here there you can see we can walk. Yeah, we can walk, but if I will do this, I can now fly above the sky, and if I will press my right mouse button, I will transform into this. But there you can see that we are still in the flying mode, so we have to fix this whole thing here. So let's work into it. So for that, what we will do, we will come inside our transformation function again. Here inside our parameters, we will add a new parameter which will be nothing but our movement mode. So for that, get our character movement, and from it search for set movement mode, connect the execution pin, and for this new movement mode, and connect our this new movement mode with our inputs, so we can simply select it from here only. And now for our crow, for default I am making it walking. I will do the same for our rest all of your mesh. You can change it on basis of your character. So let's give it a final try. So now if I will transform into my crow, now I can fly in the sky very high. And once I will transform back to my third person character, you can see I will be like I will come back to my walking mode again. So yeah, it's working absolutely fine. I know my system is bit lagging. This is because I am also doing some other works in background, so sorry for that. So yeah, it's all done. Now what we have to do, let me check if there is anything else that we are missing to do. Yeah, so like if you want to make the sprinting system for each and every of this, like everyone will have their own sprinting system and something else, then what you can do, go to your transformation. Here you can set the movement speed on based of your blend space, which I will not do it here because that will make a video more long. So I will directly jump into our widget part. So now we will work for our scroll wheel, or what you say, the transformation widget. For that, open a content browser. Here right click, and under user interface create new widget blueprint. Name it whatever you want and double click to open it. Now here, first thing first, we will add a canvas panel. So simply drag and drop it. Now we will add our wheel image. So for that, get an image inside our canvas panel, and for this image we will select our wheel and we will manually adjust it. For tutorial purpose I am doing it very fast, but you make sure to do it perfectly, and don't forget to adjust the anchor. Now we cannot see this inside our game. For that we have to add the blueprint so that it will be visible inside our game. So what I will do, so what will happen was, as soon as we will start pressing, or we will press our this left mouse button, sorry, left control, it will create a widget. It will create a widget, and this widget will be nothing but our transformation widget, which is WPP transformation. I will promote this return value as a variable, even though it's not needed, but I'm still doing it. Maybe in further work we will need it. And now from this I will add it to the viewport. So as soon as I will release my left mouse button, I want to remove it from the parent. So from here I will get remove from parent. So let's see how it's looking inside of a game. So there you can see this is how it's looking, and even though if I will go in the full screen, you can see it's looking perfect. Now come back to our widget blueprint. Here now what we will do, we will add buttons. So simply drag and bring it into our scene here, and under images select our deer or what all animation or images you want to select. You can select it here. Select our deer, and this is our outline setting here. Just make the width as negative, so there will be no outline here. And under hover, what you can do, you can make it like none, so nothing will be hover above it. And now we are going to duplicate it, so simply duplicate and do the same for your all other meshes. You can obviously play with this wheel, or you can make it a chart or whatever you want. You can play with this complete thing and rename all of them. Come back here. Now we want to switch between them, like we want to click them. Okay, so for that, come to your again this third person blueprint. Here what I will do, I will search for set in input mode, and we will set it for both game and UI. And here it will ask for a player controller, so simply search for get player controller like this. And we want our mouse to show, so what we will do, from this only we will search for set show mouse cursor and we will enable it. For this, from here we will search for game only, so it will make the input mode for game only, and copy it, and we will uncheck our this show mouse cursor, and I will connect this again. So now you can see here I can select any of them from here. So now come back to this, because right now if I will select them or click on it, nothing will happen. So we have to write the logic for them to be transformed. So what we can do, simply come to our graph. First thing first, we have to delete this thing, and from this we will get a event construct, and from this event construct I will cast to our third person character. Here I will get my player character, and lastly I will promote it as a variable so that we will have a reference of our third person character. Now select our crow, and on pressed, what will happen, we will take the reference of our third person character. And now we, as I already mentioned, inside our transformation system, let me show this array. This array has the index, so on basis of index, if we will change the index, our this value can also change. Our value of our array will be also changed, like not array, our current enumeration state will be changed. So from it we will set current transformation, and for crow the current transformation is 3. So what will happen if I'll press my crow, if I will press this crow icon or button in my UI, so it will only switch current transformation value, but it will not transform. So for that we need to bring our transform system that we created inside our third person character. Simply connect it and let's give it a try. So for crow it's 4. There you can see now our crow is on 4. But one thing you will find that let me show you again, that after transforming, the emitter is not spawning anymore, because we have a different function for emitter, which is spawning emitter, which is spawn particle. So we need to also call it there. So simply collapse them into a new function, and I will name them just for now double R. And I will come back here. I don't need this, I need my double R. Yeah, so now it will be transformed and there will be nothing wrong with our transformation thing too. Now you can see it's working absolutely fine. Let's do the same for our all other meshes. So this is done. Let's see. So here, if I will go here and I can transform this like this. That thing is working absolutely fine. So now one more thing that we need to do, let me show you. Once we will transform into our now we can fly, but after reaching to the ground, let me reach to the ground, I will press my X, so nothing will happen, but I want him to come back to our walking mode. So this is not possible yet because it's looping, because our, where's the function, there you can see our this animation is continuously looping. So we want to come back to our normal animation blueprint. For that we will search for set animation mode, and we will use the animation blueprint of our crow. I will simply drag and drop it here. So now let's give it a try. Once we will I will transform the word and we will start flying. There you can see. And now once I will come here and I will press my right mouse button, we will come back to our walking mode. So that's how you can transform between walking and flying mode for our crow. So yeah, that's enough for this video. If you have any query related to this, you can ask me in the comment section, and you can download the project from my Patreon. And make sure to subscribe and like the video so that it will reach out to the more peoples. Bye bye.